Political developments 380 to 780. The Gupta Empire. The Gupta dynasty rose to prominence in the 4th century AD under great rulers like Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, and Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Chandragupta I. Chandragupta ruled from Patliputra. His marriage with Kumara Devi, a Lichavi princess, increased the political prestige of the Guptas. Chandragupta extended his influence over Prayag and Saket in UP. He adopted the lofty title of Maharaja Dhiraja. Samudragupta. Chandragupta I was succeeded by his son Samudragupta, often regarded as the greatest ruler of the Gupta dynasty. Samudragupta was a warrior, scholar, musician, poet, and above all, a great ruler. He was a Hindu but was tolerant towards Buddhists and Jains. We get information about Samudragupta's period mainly from coins and inscriptions. The Labat pillar inscription is a preciosity, that is, literary work in praise of a ruler, on Samudragupta's military achievements. It was composed in Sanskrit by the court poet Harishena. Samudragupta annexed the region around Delhi and the western part of UP and parts of Bengal. Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Samudragupta's son Chandragupta II is also known as Vikramaditya. There are inscriptions about him at Udayagiri, Mathura and Sachi, and on the iron pillar at Mehroli, Delhi. Many of his coins have also been found. Chandragupta defeated the Shakas of Gujarat. Chandragupta II promoted learning and art. He is said to have patronized 9 renowned scholars, poets, and artists who were called Navratnas, that is, 9 gems. The poet Kalidasa is said to have been one of them. Fashian's writings. The Chinese Buddhist pilgrim and scholar Fashian visited India during Chandragupta's period. He described Chandragupta as a wise, just, and benevolent ruler. According to Fashian, the Gupta capital, Patliputra, had stately palaces and buildings. Roads were well maintained and safe and comfortable for travelers. Laws were simple and punishments were not too severe. The people were law-abiding and honest. However, Fashian lamented the neglect of the Buddhist places of worship at Bodh Gaya, Kushinagar and Kapilavastu. India after the Guptas. After the decline of the Gupta period, India broke up into a number of small kingdoms. 3 kingdoms that gained importance were the kingdom of Harshavardhan of Kannauj, Chalukyas of Vatapi, and the Pallavas of Kanchipuram. Harshavardhan. In the early 7th century AD, Harshavardhan became the ruler of Thanesar in modern Haryana. He succeeded his brother Rajyavardhan, who had avenged the murder of his sister's husband, the ruler of Kannauj, but had himself got killed. Harshavardhan united the kingdoms of Thanesar and Kannauj and made Kannauj his capital. Harsha's empire extended from the Himalaya in the north to the river Narmada in the south and from Punjab in the west to Bengal in the east. Harsha restored the conquered territories to their rulers as long as they promised to pay him regular tributes. Harsha led a campaign into the Deccan but was defeated on the bank of the Narmada by Chalukyas ruler Pulakshin II. Chalukyas and Pallavas. At the time when Harsha ruled in North India, the Chalukyas emerged as a powerful dynasty in the region between Vindhyas and the river Krishna. Their capital was at Vatapi, also known as Badami in northern Mysore. Pulakshin II. The most renowned Chalukya ruler was Pulakshin II. A prashasti on a wall of a Jain temple at Aholi describes his conquest. This prashasti, composed by the poet Ravi Kriti, mentioned Pulakshin's victory over Harshvardhan on the bank of the Narmada. Pulakshin Empire stretched from the Arabian Sea in the west to the Bay of Bengal in the east, and from the Narmada in the north to the river Palar in the south. Hussain Sang visited Pulakshin's court. He was impressed by Chalukyan administration. Rivalry between the Chalukyas and Pallavas. The region ruled by the Chalukya was fertile and had ports on both the west coast and the east coast. This promoted foreign trade with Persia, Arabia, and the Red Sea ports and Southeast Asia. The Pallavas, who ruled over modern Tamil Nadu and the parts of Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh from their capital at Kachipuram, fought for control over the region. This resulted in frequent conflicts. The Pallava ruler Narasimhavarman I killed Pulakshin II and captured Vatapi. Pulakshin's descendants freed Vatapi, defeated the Pallavas, and restored Chalukya prestige. The Chalukyas of Vatapi were ultimately overthrown by another Deccan power, the Rashtrakutas. The Cholas overthrew the Pallavas. Central administration. The rulers of the period assumed high-sounding titles and performed the Rajasuya and Ashwamedha sacrifices to show their power. Some rulers of the Deccan adopted titles like Dharma Maharaja to show that they were upholders of Dharma. Provincial administration. A kingdom was usually divided into provinces, districts, and villages. Graded groups of officials carried out the task of provincial administration. Local administration. A council of village elders headed by the village headman administered the village. A city was administered by a council consisting of the head of the city corporation, representatives of the various guilds of merchants and artisans, and the chief scribes. Army and Navy. A part of the state revenue was spent on maintaining an army. The army usually consists of infantry, cavalry, and elephants. The Pallavas maintained a navy, as did some of the Chalukyas, such as Pulakshin II. A defeated ruler was sometimes made a Samanta, that is, a chief who held land on condition that he could supply soldiers to the king when required. When central rule weakened, Samantas often became independent. Life of the people. Our knowledge about the life of the people of the time is drawn mainly from literary works such as Kalidasa's play Banabhatta's Harsha Charita and the account of foreign travelers like Sang. The literature of the period deals mainly with court life and the life of upper classes. It throws light on the social values of the time. most of the Sanskrit plays, upper class males speak Sanskrit, while women and common people speak Prakrit. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people. The caste system had become rigid and many subcastes had come into existence. Bhakti, an important religious development. Around the 5th century AD, there was a revival of Hinduism and the worship of the gods Vishnu and Shiva. Various goddesses came to be worshipped widely. The worshippers of Vishnu were called Bhagavatas. Everyone, irrespective of caste, sect, and will, was allowed to worship Vishnu. This worship was based on bhakti, that is, the individual's faith and devotion. Bhakti was believed to be a direct bond between the devotee and the god he or she worshipped. Vishnu is said to have appeared again and again on the earth to destroy evil and restore order. He is said to have appeared in various human and animal forms, such as an avatar, that is, incarnation. Students, I hope the chapter is clear to you. Thank you for watching the video.